Admit it, we've all experienced it. A sound that stops you dead in your tracks. An unexplained movement out of the corner of your eye. The unshakable feeling of being watched. Or maybe it was something more. Maybe it's a story that would have even the most seasoned paranormal investigator shook. This is our new series, Dead Time Stories, your true life tales of the paranormal. These people were brave enough to talk about it. Are you brave enough to listen? Our first story today comes from Chet Cohen from Los Angeles, California, but his story is from a hotel you may have heard of in Estes Park, Colorado.
My name is Chet. My most significant paranormal experience took place in Estes Park, Colorado in January of 2012. I was on a ghost tour of the grounds of the Stanley Hotel, which was the inspiration for Stephen King's The Shining. The guide had taken us to the music hall building and into the green room in the basement level of the facility. She had previously told us of a spirit who still resides at this space. The guide closed the door and turned off the lights. It was very dark, but after a short time you could vaguely see the light peeking in from the service door on the opposite side of the room from the entry door we had just come through. I was seated on the floor with my back to a wall. Off to my left was the entry door and the guide standing there, still talking to us about the spirit. Off to my right was the service door where the light was slightly peeking through. Around me were several couches filled with the seated persons doing the tour along with me. There was also a restroom to my right with the door propped open. It was darker beyond the restroom door entry because the light did not make its way that far into the space. My eyes adjusted enough to the darkness that I could see the furniture around me and just make out the guide standing at the entry door. One of the other attendees then stated verbally, "Did it just get colder in here?" At that same moment, I felt the same temperature change and verbally said yes. Just after that, I observed a shadow figure move from the entry door and walk across the room. The figure disappeared as it went in front of the restroom door due to the blackness. Then it reappeared as it walked right past me and stopped at the service entry door and was seemingly leaning against the same wall that my back was to. At the same moment, the guide verbally stated, "The spirit is here with us, and she is at the back of the room next to the service door." I freaked out because it confirmed my observation, and it also confirmed that it wasn't the guide as she was still standing next to the entry door. I kept fixated at the shadow figure, which was seemingly just a couple feet away from me. Then the figure just suddenly vanished. The guide then said she was gone. I know what I saw, and it wasn't anyone in that room.
Hey Chet, thanks so much for sharing your story. I too have had experiences at the Stanley Hotel, and it's no wonder Stephen King was inspired by this place. Our next story comes from Caleb Webb from Service, Arizona.
Hi Bridget, my name is Caleb, and I'm from Service, Arizona, which is 30 minutes north of Bisbee and 20 minutes south of Tombstone. I saw my first ghost working overnight at a local hotel. While delivering receipts, I heard the sound of footsteps behind me. Questioning who would be awake at 2 in the morning, I turned around to greet the unknown guest behind me. As I turned, the footsteps sped up and sounded as if someone was running at me from behind. I dove into a defensive stance, only to find that nobody was there. I'd come to see this entity often, as my supervisors did overnight. He was a tall, black, shadowy figure who would often catch my eye, running up and down the first floor hallway. I grew to know him simply as the Running Man, and to a point where I could feel his presence in the air almost every night. I'll never forget the night I was chased by the Running Man, and believe I simply got in his way. He was not the only presence I've encountered over my years of working in hotels. I've been growled at, and I've seen enough to believe. Thank you so much, Bridget, for allowing me to share this with you. Be well.
Oh, Caleb, you've piqued my interest. I want to hear more hotel ghost stories. Our last few stories come from Jena and Darryl Caterine, and their stories take us from Vermont to South Dakota.
I went up to visit a friend of mine in Vermont. She was house sitting for somebody that she knew. She was there with her 7 or 8 year old daughter, and I went up and we stayed at this house sitting. It was a farmhouse that had been built from old salvaged pieces of other houses. So like there were really old timbers in it and beams and old staircases and stuff like that. And I had a guest room that was right at the foot of the stairs to the upstairs, and it was also right off the kitchen. And in the kitchen there was a wood stove, and the house had a cat and a dog, and there was a pony or something. I don't know. We were taking care of a bunch of animals, but there was a cat.
The pony wasn't in the house.
The pony wasn't in the house.
Right.
So I'm sleeping in this guest room at the foot of the stairs, right off the kitchen. And my friend and I had stayed up late. We finally got her daughter to go to bed, and then we stayed up kind of late, and then I finally went to bed. And I had been asleep for a while, and I woke up because I started to hear this thumping on the stairs. And I thought it was that kind of sound that it was like thump, 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 thump. And I really thought that it was my friend's daughter, like doing that thing where the kids do where they sit on their butt on the stairs and then they thump down, and they thump down. Like she was trying to make a lot of noise and get attention because she didn't want to go to bed or, whatever the deal was. And I'm listening to that and I'm thinking, oh, she's up, and then we're going to have to get up, and I'm going to have to go get my friend and put her back to bed. And I was kind of waiting for her to get to the bottom of the stairs so I could really see if I had to actually get up. And I hear feet at the bottom of the stairs, and I hear footsteps going into the kitchen, and then I hear this like voice that makes that little noise you make to cats, like, and this old woman's voice saying, "Oh, did they leave you here all alone?" And that was clearly not an 8-year-old, and it was clearly not my friend or her daughter, so I pulled the covers up over my head and then I went to sleep. And that's my Vermont ghost story, for which I have no explanation. So Darryl and I were driving out to South Dakota to the Badlands. We were doing this road trip, and we didn't realize it was at the same time as the Sturgis motorcycle rally, the big Harley-Davidson motorcycle rally. So we were just thinking, well, we'll drive out and get a hotel room wherever we end up stopping for the night, and it'll be fine. And then we were competing for hotel rooms with these thousands of Harley-Davidson drivers. And we ended up in Rapid City in the height of this thing, and we stopped at a hotel and they had no rooms, and the guy there called around and he got us the absolute last room in town. I mean, he called all the hotels and he finally said, "I've got one for you. It's right downtown. It's an old hotel. You'll love it." And we go over there and we get the room, and it's this beautiful hotel. It was the hotel they filmed North by Northwest in, the Alfred Hitchcock movie. So it's like got this beautiful painted lobby, and it's all just this elaborate old 1930s sort of
Tudor style.
Very cool.
Yep.
So we're feeling pretty good about this. Like, we're really excited about it. It's right downtown. And we go up to our room, which is really nice. They'd renovated that floor. And we'd gotten a really nice dinner. We came back, went to bed. And Darryl likes to sleep with all the lights out. Like, he's a light sleeper. So we turned off all the lights in the room. And we're in bed, and he's going to sleep. And I'm kind of lying there a little bit. And all of a sudden, I hear the closet door fly open and slam into the wall. And I was on the side of the bed right next to the closet. So to me, this was very much had just happened right next to me. And I grabbed Darryl and I said, "Did you hear that? What was that?" And I'm like, Darryl, wake up. Did you hear that? And he was half asleep. So he's like, "Oh, it's nothing. Really, it's nothing. Just go to sleep. It's fine."
You know, when you're in a motel or a hotel and you can hear people shutting their doors, it's really, whatever,
Yeah, I was pretty sure it happened right next to the bed, but I don't know. It was early in the relationship. I was like, well, it doesn't seem to bother him. I'll just go along with that. But I did pull the cover over my head, and then I went to sleep. And we woke up in the morning, and the closet door was wide open and smashed into the wall. And I stared at it, and I looked at Darryl, and we were both like, what the heck?
Oh, that's what you heard.
So we go downstairs to the front desk, and the front desk clerk says, "How did you sleep?" And we said, "Oh, well, there was a little interesting thing that happened last night." And Darryl looks at her and he says, "Is this hotel haunted?" As he does. And she said, oh, yeah, well, the 10th floor got so bad that we had to have an exorcist come in and like clear it out. She's like, that ghost was throwing things at people.
Who knew?
Ooh, I love it, you guys. Thanks for sharing those stories. I'm gonna have to check out that hotel if I'm ever in South Dakota. I hope you guys enjoyed these dead time stories. Do you have a ghost experience that you'd like to share? I'd love to hear it. Record your haunted story on your phone and send it to GhostMagnetTV@gmail.com, and make sure to include your name and city and state. Look forward to hearing it. Hey guys, if you're a fan of Ghost Magnet, please take a moment to subscribe to the podcast and like our Facebook page so you can stay informed on the latest Ghost Magnet news. We've got lots of spooky new content coming your way that you won't want to miss. Subscribe and stay tuned.